Hi, I'm Jay Wong, and I'm with the Annenberg School for Communication and Journalism at the University of Southern California. This summer, we will be bringing you a series of video conversations on national branding practices at Expo Shanghai 2010. We view the Expo as a platform for international communication and public diplomacy through national pavilions. And this year, it is also a site for us to have a better understanding of how a rising China is engaging with the world through its public encounters and experiences at these national pavilions. So when the two words, branding and nation state, come together, there are basically two broad conversations before us. So the first one is, what could branding practices in the private sector teach us about communication between countries and how we manage our national image and the communication practices? The other conversation concerns to what extent consumers' perceptions of various countries and the brands from these countries are interrelated or interdependent. For instance, do consumers' perception of the foreign policy of a certain country impact the way how they see the brands from these countries, or vice versa? For our purposes, we focus primarily on the first question, that is the relevance and importance of branding practices to national image communication and management. So we need to address three questions. First, what is the conceptual basis for us to apply the concept of branding in national image communication? Or if you would like to frame it this way, basically the question is, can nations be quote-unquote branded? The next question is whether nation states should pursue branding in their global communication. After all, in the corporate world, branding is just one of the strategic options for business growth and development, and it may not be the best solution to business problems. If our answers to these two questions are positive, then we should ask ourselves, how should we in fact pursue branding, and what does branding a nation actually entail? Branding presupposes a competitive marketplace, brand identity through distinction and difference, and symbolic interaction through communicative acts between the brands and the producers and the consumers. Given the existence of a competitive landscape in global politics and economy, the continuing importance of national identity in global relations, the role of emotion in international relations and communication, and the centrality of public communication in the process, a discussion of the relevance of branding to national image communication and management becomes warranted. Generally speaking, the idea of branding refers to the process of defining, delivering, and maintaining the identification of an object, be it goods or services, issues and organizations, or peoples or places, to achieve differentiation, consumer uptake, and relationship among your target audiences. And such differentiation is increasingly based on symbolic and emotional attributes rather than functional purposes. The practice of branding generally has three sets of activities. They are brand definition, brand engagement, and brand management. For this discussion, brand definition refers to the establishment of an identity of a place based on functional, symbolic, or experiential benefits target audiences seek in it. We basically ask two questions: what does your place stand for, and whether what your place stands for has any resonance with our target audiences. The second set of activities in branding is brand engagement, which includes two basic aspects of designing a brand identity system, which includes, for instance, taglines, logos, name, color scheme, and delivering communication through a variety of platforms and vehicles, both externally and internally. Perhaps the most significant part of brand engagement is really getting the buy-in from domestic constituents. So this is not so different from what's happening in a corporate sector, where communication with internal audiences is increasingly important. The third aspect in branding is brand management. This is about coordination among the various brands of an organization. In a corporate world, companies need to determine an effective, efficient mix of products and brands in a portfolio for their organizations. They also need to determine the right structure and relationship among the brands. In addition, they need to put in place the structure, process, and resources for brand protection, brand maintenance, and brand growth. Similarly, in national branding, countries need to decide what is the relationship between the sub-entities within a country and the overall country image or brand that it wants to promote. For instance, what is the relationship between the tourism brand of a country and the overall national brand? Or do you want to use the tourism brand to drive the overall national brand perception? Our video conversations will explore how countries pursue their brands at the Expo Park through these three aspects of brand definition, brand engagement, and brand management.